You remove a card from the page. It is gone from the DOM. Then DevTools says the card, its images, and its event handler are still alive. How can removed code still be alive? Because garbage collection does not ask whether you can see an object. It asks one question. Can anything still reach it? Today, we trace that route, fix the leak, and make V8's cleanup crew finally intuitive. V8 just compiled your JavaScript. Now it has to decide which objects are still part of the program and which are ready to disappear. Picture your program as a building. The inspector starts only at entrances that are still open, the running code, global state, the browser page. From each entrance, they walk every hallway to every room they can reach. A room with a route from an entrance is live. It stays. But if no hallway from any entrance reaches a room, it is sealed off from the program. That room is eligible for cleanup. Eligible does not mean gone this exact line of code. The engine chooses when to collect, balancing allocation pressure, pause time, and work already queued. Your job is simpler. Remove the last route when your feature is done. Now the formal names. Those open entrances are GC routes, places the engine begins tracing from. A hallway is a strong reference, a property, a closure, a listener, a collection entry. Rooms the trace reaches are live objects. A room it cannot reach is unreachable, eligible for garbage collection whenever the engine next decides to do that work. Here is the trace in a real page. Window is a root. It owns a scroll listener. That listener closes over state for one mounted panel. The state points at a card that you already removed from the DOM. The card is not magic. It is just still at the end of a route. Window, listener, closure, state, card. That is what the retainer's view in a heap snapshot is for. It shows the route, not merely the object that looks too large. Break that route and the whole island can become unreachable together. First myth demolished. Two objects point at each other. That looks suspicious. A points to B, B points back to A. Then the function returns, and nothing outside that little circle points in. They do not leak just because they form a cycle. V8 starts from roots, cannot reach either one, and can collect both. A cycle matters only if something reachable still points into it. That is why reference counting got this case wrong, while reachability does not. V8 does not inspect the whole building the same way every time. New objects usually begin in the young generation, where short-lived stuff is common. Young collection scavenges quickly, keep the survivors, reclaim the rest. That is why short-lived request objects do not need a full heap search every time. Objects that keep surviving are promoted toward the old generation. A major collection traces the bigger heap from roots, often doing marking work incrementally or concurrently before a brief final step. That reduces pauses. It does not promise zero pauses or a fixed schedule. The reachability rule stays the same at every layer, whether V8 is handling a young collection or a larger major collection. Your turn. You remove a button, then drop your local variable. But a map still uses that button as a key. In the second version, a WeakMap holds the same auxiliary metadata instead. Pause, which button can become collectible, assuming no other strong root remains? The map version stays alive. Its key is a strong hallway. The WeakMap version may be collected because WeakMap does not keep its key alive by itself. That makes it useful for auxiliary facts attached to an object. It is not iterable, and it is not a notification that cleanup happened. This is the production leak. A panel creates large state, then registers a listener on window. That listener closes over the state. Window is a root, so the state stays reachable after the panel disappears. Setting some local variable to null does not fix the listener you left on window. The fix is to remove the owner's root when you unmount. An abort controller makes that lifecycle explicit. Attach with its signal, then abort during cleanup. In a component framework, return that cleanup from the same place you mounted the listener. Now window releases the listener, the closure releases the state, and V8 can do its job whenever it runs next. Your field guide. Nulling one variable removes one route, not every route. Collection timing is not yours to command. Cycles do not leak by themselves. Roots decide whether the cycle is live. A removed DOM node can still be retained by JavaScript. find the retaining path. And GC cannot clean a reachable design mistake. Remove the listener, cache entry, or closure that owns it. V8 does not decide what dies by counting objects or watching variables turn null. It traces roots from roots. Anything no root reaches becomes eligible. Anything your listener, cache, or closure still owns stays alive. Next Tuesday, JavaScript modules. What import actually does. Subscribe so it finds you.